2023. Is everyone ready for this? I feel like we're due a good year, everybody. I hope everybody, all the cast members, have a great year this year. It seems like we're picking up things comedy wise. I've experienced myself at least that a lot of shows, over this past 6 months or so, it seems like things are, knock on wood, back to a semblance of normality. So I'm pretty encouraged by that, and I hope all of you have been as well, and I hope everyone's been doing pretty well, and I hope maybe we're gonna have a pretty decent 23. Who knows? We're due. You never know. So it's great to be here for our meeting, and I guess I'll run down a few things that CASC has been doing. We're getting back to normalcy as well. We're starting one thing that we're going to do in 2023 that we're going to get back. Well, not that we got away from it too much, but there's only so much lobbying you could do during the pandemic. But we're going to get back to a more serious push for lobbying again. I think we've made some positive signs and some positive inroads to having comedy recognized as art. I've talked to some people that have gotten grants. In various small grants in various forms for comedic endeavors and stand-up comedy. So it's pretty encouraging because up until now you always had to kind of wriggle your way in. So at least we're making inroads into being able to get things with them and get things a little bit easier. But of course, ultimately, comedy is an art, obviously, and we need it to be recognized as such. So it's ridiculous for us to be not recognized and kind of left out of the funding to a large extent. So we're going to get back to that. We've been saving some money over the pandemic, so we'll be able to get back to our lobbying and take another kind of run at Parliament Hill and talk to them about it. And hopefully, as we all push, and all the provinces are actually pushing as well. Quebec has it. Quebec has it registered as an art, and BC is is working towards that as well. So hopefully the dam entirely will break, and they'll finally call it an art, and so we'll be able to be up there with the people on stilts and whatnot as people that do art. So that'd be nice. Well, what else we got going on here? One thing that I wanted to bring up that has been great, and it's something that CASC actually applied for. We didn't get, but it was a grant we were trying to get to give out money to comedians, and we didn't get it, but AFC got it, and they put together a fund that is still giving out money to comedians, and they certainly did as good a job as we would have done. And you just go to the AFC reactivation fund for anyone who hasn't. I know a lot of people have, but this is my final plea, I think, to everybody to go get $2,500 because all you need to do is go to afchelps.ca, and if you're a working comedian, give them some proof of that in posters and whatnot, and you should be eligible for the $2,500. So if you haven't done it, it's only open for one more month. So please go do it. I've never in my life have I begged a large group of people to get $2,500. I never thought I would be in that kind of circumstance, but here I am, begging you to go. Please sign up and get $2,500 from them. The government has allotted it to them so that they could distribute it to artists around Canada, and we're eligible for it. So if you haven't got it, please go get it. Really, really looking forward to everybody getting that, and I don't want to see anyone left out. And it's only one more month left to go. So start the process now, so that you don't have any trouble with it if you haven't done it already. And our continuing work, exploring the possibility of opening a chapter, community chapter of CASC with Unifor. We've put out some surveys to people, and we're going to keep surveying you throughout the year, because we, of course, were we to try to do something like this, we want to make sure exactly how you all feel. So please fill out the survey, and we'll try to inform you about it more as we go. Being a community chapter doesn't mean that we're in the union. It doesn't mean that they're going to be asking a bunch of things from us. The way it's basically structured is that there is an increase in the membership fee to $10 a month, but it goes to CASC, which we can use because things like lobbying and stuff like that, it's difficult to do. We're working on a shoestring budget as it is, so paying for things like insurance and registration for CASC is a lot of the money that we have. We don't have a whole bunch sitting around, so it's not like we can't use the extra money, and they would give all that to us. We are able to participate in the benefits of uniform, and they're not really asking much of us at all. So it's definitely worth considering, but look at it from that lens anyway, is that being a community chapter does not mean you're in the union, but you can share in the benefits of being a member of the union. So it seems like a good idea to definitely consider as we going. But the main thing is that you all, or a large majority, want to do it. We're not trying to push you one way or the other. We just want to know exactly what you think. So please fill out the survey um, you know, so that we can have a better idea of what our constituents want. So, on I guess a bit of a lousy start to the year, I felt compelled to read off some of the people that we've lost over the year and over the pandemic, because it's been really pretty tragic from that point of view, and we've lost a lot of excellent comedians. So I wanted to just start and acknowledge people that we're all missing. Wanted to talk about Nick Nemiroff, who we lost this year. Everybody tragically, and he's a super well-loved comedian and a super funny guy, and we're all really sorry for him not to be here. Alan Park. Alan Park we lost this year, was a legendary performer. I mean, I know I started out watching him a lot, and always had a lot of respect for him. Is super funny. His work on the Air Force was always hilarious, and a great guy. So Matt Billen, we lost during the pandemic, who was, again, another great guy, a guy who I watched starting out all the time, and is just a great pro and super funny guy, and another beloved man that we lost. Andrew Albert. Andrew, I met him later on in my career. Again, another great guy, super funny guy. Well loved. Everyone that knew him, loved the guy. So another tragic loss. And Tim Steves. Tim Steves, a legendary performer. Another a guy I really looked up to, watching him many times especially when I started out, and his work on writing for 22 Minutes and the Rick Mercer Show, and just being a phenomenal comedian and a great guy as well. So all of them will be dearly missed, and I know that everyone in the community is touched by numerous, if not all of those losses. So hopefully we won't have that many losses in 23. You know what I mean? Hopefully we can keep going without so much that. But on that note, on a on a happier note, we have a new executive member of CASC, and I wanted to introduce Janelle Niles. Janelle, why don't you tell people about yourself?
Thank you, Monty. I do not know how I'm going to follow that. First, let me say I met Nick Nemiroff when we performed together on season 2 of New Wave of Stand Up in Vancouver, and he was a gem, and he gave me a lot of kind words, even though I'm very green comic. So thank you so much for that, Monty. So let me introduce myself. My name is Janelle Niles. I am a First Nations Mi'kmaq and Black woman from Sub-Aganagady, Nova Scotia, currently residing here in Ottawa, Ontario. I am a new executive member with the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Sketch and Improv Comics. And if you see me online, I am the share queen. I want everybody to know what we're doing, and hopefully getting comedy recognized as an art form throughout Canada. So thank you so much for having me as your membership officer here with CAS. Sorry, sorry, with the association. Thank you so much. Walalan Chimigwich.
Oh, we're going right to me. Hi, my name is Drew Pickwick. I am the funding officer of CASC. And I'm here today because we'll be speaking about the recent survey response to CASC aligning with Unifor. Just to parrot what Monty said up top, by aligning with Unifor, we will not be joining Unifor. We will not be a union. The constitution of the association will not change. The way it's been set up will remain intact. The benefit that it will bring is that there will be more resources brought to the table. We'll have a much better way to lobby for what we want to do when we go to speak to provincial and the federal government, provincial governments and the federal government, sorry, just to clarify. Additionally, a lot of the ambitions that we want in terms of being able to deal with club owners or certain clubs or bookers, managers, people feeling like they're not getting their fair shake or not being paid properly, we'll have much more clear guidance as to how we can arbitrate situations like that and ensure that this is an effective association that is getting results for the members. So, Joe, if you could share the survey questions, I'll just go over some people's concerns, maybe. And again, this is at the membership's discretion to decide whether we do it or not. Seemingly, in the first round of voting that we've done, there's been an overwhelming amount of support for it, over 60%. But I just want to maybe take a second to go over some of the concerns that have been raised. So can we go to some of if we can scroll down? Okay. So if we see here, there are many reasons to join, good ones. I'm just unsure about a priority to them. We will be able to let them go if our needs are not met. So yes, we would not be attached at the hip forever to Unifor. CASC would remain autonomous. However, it would be, as I said, better resourced and capable of achieving more of the association's goals if we were to align with them. I would hate CASC to not get what it's need or will be paying for. I've seen national unions and organizations do less work for smaller provinces and all the territories because the big numbers are Ontario, Quebec. So they're just taking all the rest. Yeah. So this would be them helping out the association writ large. So it's not to say that comics in Quebec, Ontario, BC, the larger provinces are going to benefit at a detriment to comics across the country. That wouldn't be the case. It would be, we would have someone to go to we'd have a designated person at Unifor that we could speak with concerns and issues, and we'd be better resourced. Would have to see the real benefits. Okay. Yeah. So again, this is the first two responses here seem to say that people want to trial it and see what happens. So that's fair. And that's what we intend to do. Stand-ups are both comedians and producer. Would you? So no, it wouldn't. Again, there's no single employer for comedians or sketch and improv artists as well in CASC. So we wouldn't be joining a union like, say, an auto worker who works for General Motors would, where there's a clear relationship and a dynamic between an employer and an employee. That's not what we would be doing. We'd be a community chapter where we would have the expertise and the resources of Unifor to draw from in achieving our own ambitions. So it wouldn't make a clear delineation of, oh, you're management and you're a member. It wouldn't be that. You could be a comic who still produces things on their own, and that shouldn't come into any conflict with you being able to participate. Okay, this one's more vocally against Unifor. Okay. So they disaffiliated with the CLC Labor Congress. That is true. They stepped back from the CLC. However, there has been controversies with Unifor. That is true, with their former president Jerry Diaz. Again, though, he stepped down, and the union has been, how should I say it, like reorganizing in-house and reshuffling. So that is changing. But if we're looking at it from a purely apparatus structure, again, we're not giving them dues. They're not taking money from us. They're simply providing resources. So I understand some of the concerns there, but again, this is not going to be a situation where we're losing our autonomy in any which way or form. And I would also say, if there are concerns with Unifor, but there are members who like the idea of us partnering with the union, please feel free to offer suggestions for other labor unions or organizations that you think would provide us something similar in terms of resources and commitments, like we're seeing that we can get with Unifor. Okay, the $10 a month increase. So this is this is just part of their mandate, that the organizations that they work with need to be well capitalized. So they would like to see us have a minimum amount of $120 per year from comics who are part of CASC, if they were to partner with us, so that we could actually deploy capital in an effective means. Okay. Yep. Understand with the issues with Unifor. Again, they're changing leadership, so see that. People who, if they have the funds to do so, I can understand the financial impact could be a blocker. Let me see. I think with the misguided, do they represent any similar industries as ours, and let's have no experience working in the entertainment sector. Also, unions typically ask their membership to strike in solidarity with other sectors. This means, for instance, Unifor members in the Newfoundland fisheries might go on strike action. Unifor might ask their members to do strike action solidarity. So again, we're not joining Unifor. There would be no strike actions that we would be forced to take as a group, as an association. It would very much be a community chapter where we are getting resources from Unifor, but again, we are not joining Unifor. Yes. Yes, so there'd be no pickets. None of that would be, no, that wouldn't be a point of contention. What initiatives would you like CASC to work on? So legal protection and contract enforcement, too many people being hired, they're not paid the agreed amount or on time, or both. So this is something that working with Unifor would aid in us coming up with a more kind of cogent policy, as well as having a strong strategy and playbook that we can refer to as to how do we deal with issues of contract enforcement and wage evasion, or I'm forgetting the word right there, but not paying people against how we would deal with that. Okay, getting reciprocal agreement, that make it easier. So again, Unifor, they would be able to assist us with this potentially, because I know one of the big issues in the past was with the auto workers who joined not having what they felt was fair representation with the American workers, because dues from Canada were going down to Washington to represent and lobby in Congress there, and the American workers were getting a better shake. So that is something that I believe we would be able to get, again, assistance, guidance, expertise, help with by joining with Unifor or another labor union with, again, not joining the union, but joining forces with and working alongside in tandem with a union organization that is well-resourced and experienced in dealing with those. Less control by the organizations. If we go with the union, that would be so again, we're not joining the union. We would be assisted by the union. We have next, okay. Yeah, a new lobbying category for temporary work visa. So there is some work that we want to do on that in the new year. And I think that'll get touched on later, but again, could help. And question 4, are you currently a CASC member? Yes. And okay. Sorry. If CASC joined Unifor, would you become a CASC member? Would you keep your CASC membership? So the majority of respondents are saying yes, they would still join and stay with us. About 9 members saying no, they would leave. Again, if your concern is that CASC would be joining the union and this would change the level of autonomy of the association, that is a misplaced fear. That's not what would be happening. CASC would still remain fully independent. They would just have more resources and be allied with a large lobbying force within the country that can benefit our shared and communal goals. So I hope that put any questions or uncertainties to bed. If not, please reach out to us and we'll try to clarify further going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Drew. So what's up, everyone? It's Joe. I'm going to echo a little bit of what Monty said at the beginning, which is, yes, it's been kind of like 2 years of stagnant, like for everybody, basically. And CASC this year really wants to get back out there and get back to the goals and the points that we want to get to. So, as we said, getting comedy recognized as an art form. Quebec has done it. It's been almost 3 years now. BC has done it, and we're waiting to hear back exactly what that consists of. And so there's no reason why Ontario, at the very least, or on the provincial level, and then at the federal level, that we can't do this. This is going to happen. The next one is getting the P1 visa that's reserved for circus performers. We're looking into that to see how CASC can get that for its members. So talking with a few people who want to help on this, and we're going to have some more information about that in the future. And all of this obviously requires rehiring our lobbyists, and we're going to be doing that in order to go to Ottawa this summer. But in order to do that, we need your help, and we need to revive the committees that we had when we started. So if you were involved in the committee or you want to be involved in the committee, please contact us. We need people for lobbying, for fundraising, for industry relations, for diversity, marginalized voices, for membership, bringing people on, for safety, anti-harassment and anti-discrimination, accessibility, social media and website, PR and marketing. So we need people to fill up those holes, to volunteer at least maybe 5 to 10 hours of your time a week to come in and help us. And the more help we get, the better and the faster we can get our message pushed. So calling you out, come give us a hand and let's make this happen, right? Right? Coolio. So right now I'm going to bring on Adam the man. He's going to be talking to you about some CanCom awesomeness that's happening. Take it away.
Joe, thank you. I'm going to start with a fact check. I'm sorry, I have to start with a fact check. Comedy is a federally recognized art form already. It's a done deal. So in terms of the lobbying, yeah, we got to talk, CASC. It's a done deal. It started in 2018. Joe, Monty, and I remember the standing ovation in the House of Commons during question period when Julie DeBrusen, MP for Danforth, put up Sandra's, call out, and no doubt vocally supported. And we knew that the next piece of the puzzle that needed to happen was we needed to get the money from Heritage. And 4 years later, in October 2022, through the Department of Canadian Heritage, the federal government of Canada gave Canadian comedy artists $274,338 through a program called the Canada Performing Arts Workers Relief Fund. We got it. That's a done deal. And there is no turning back. So in terms of the lobby you're talking about, 90% of CASC members in the poll, you said, want you to continue to fight for getting Canada to recognize comedy as an art form. Okay, let's shift that. What we need to shift that away from the Canada Council for the Arts, let's forget about that. What they do is fantastic for other arts sector workers. Great stuff. They are not going to recognize comedians as artists. I was in the room, Joe, with you. It's not going to happen. And that's okay, because that's what the Foundation for Canadian Comedy, CanCom, has achieved with the Canada Performing Arts Workers Relief Fund. That's where the money for the symposium that is currently underway, we're about halfway done. We've got 3 more workshops. And by the way, CanCom has retained 0% of that $274,338. All of it has gone out to the comedy arts workers community across the country. Our next symposium workshop, call it an episode. If workshop is making you nervous, it's an episode. It's a 10-part series that we are producing nationally as hybrid broadcasts from 6 different cities, online, and 4 follow-up webcasts. The next one is this Sunday, January 29th, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern. Check the symposium website for local times. Out of Montreal via the Comedy Nest with comedy artists talking about the very specific topic for this episode, pro-health, anti-oppression, and anti-competition. This particular workshop is going to be very unique. If you've missed the previous 3, via live stream from the Tightrope Theatre in Vancouver, via live stream from the Grindstone Theatre in Edmonton, via live stream from the Gas Station Theatre in Winnipeg. They are for all Canadian comedians across the country. You don't have to just live in those home cities. And they're available on the Symposium virtual website, along with a huge amount of downloadable resources for free as replays. The live stream for the next 3 is on the Symposium website, and all you need is a CanCom membership, and it's free. And so I just want to quickly address some of the concerns as to why people have not been attending the symposium. And some of them is because they look at the workshop roster and they say, well, what can I learn from them? And no offense to anybody that's been booked, because we have some stellar talent. I just want to address that very quickly and say the comedians that we've booked as online hosts and in-venue facilitators and in-venue educators are all part of our community from various stages of their careers. They're not meant to be experts on every topic that we talk about. They're meant to be there live for us all to see as paid comedy workers, to share their experiences and their lens on the experiences with relation to those topics. And then we also bring in experts on those subject matters to work with our community to make us more resilient. Okay? So if you see someone say, what am I going to learn about, anti-oppression from that person or showcasing from that person? Don't worry about that. You're about to share the experience, listening and contributing, whatever stage you're at, emerging, established, or veteran. It's for everybody. The industry experts that we're bringing on board for this particular workshop are creating a unique workshop within the workshop. There's going to be a lot discussed, but in the 2-hour workshop, we're extending it. There's a Safer Spaces Scenarios workshop. And those materials are going to be available in advance on the virtual website for you to look at and participate online, in addition to all the comedians that are there. Again, all of this is free. We're going to be in Halifax in February on the 26th. We're going to be in Toronto on the 26th of March. It's Comedy Bar in Toronto and Yuck Yucks in Halifax. And I urge you to get your free CanCom membership, join the symposium, watch the replay, and start to leverage, and let's work leveraging CASC lobby efforts, what we should be focused on. And those 90% of you as CASC members who want CASC to continue lobbying for comedy arts, shift it to now talking to the Department of Canadian Heritage for annualized funding. The last thing I'll say is one of the reasons we got that $274,338 from Heritage is because CanCom has done its own funding privately from our board directors and sponsors comedy program grants. So the CanCom Comedy Grants Part 2 is currently available. Applications open until February 12th. And this is the second round of the first ever funding in the history of this country available to comedy artists to apply as comedy artists for the full scope of work that you do as a comedian. You want to create a TikTok, you want to go on tour, you want to do stand-up or sketch, you want to make a little sizzle reel, we want to invest in it. And one of the reasons we got Heritage on board is because CanCom did that on our own. So now we got a lobby for annualized funding from Heritage to grow that amount. We've only got a little over $20,000, which is, hey, you know, it ain't a bag, but it's something. And you can apply for up to $2,000 from CanCom directly. We want to make annualized funding even greater. So thanks, Joe. Thanks, Monty. Thanks, Drew. From everybody we've heard so far. And I know we're going to hear from Nick right now.
A smooth transition. It's like you've done this many, many times before. What's up, everyone? I'm Nick Dury. I am the treasurer of CASC. I'm a Toronto-based comic. Just wanted to spend a couple minutes to give some shout-outs to the ambassadors of CASC spread out throughout the country and in different communities. And I invite you, wherever you are in the country, to reach out to your ambassador just to help bring the community together, open the dialogue. If there's lobbying that needs to happen from a provincial level, you can do so, and shine light on any difficulties that may be happening in your region. So I'm going to do a bit of a roll call of the ambassadors that we have. So listen out for your province or your community. In Alberta, we've got Kathleen McGee. In Manitoba, Tim Gray. Newfoundland, we've got Mike Hammond. In Northern Ontario, we've got two ambassadors, believe it or not, Sean McLaren and John Brisson. In Nova Scotia, we got my friend Nick Martinello. Nunavut, we've got Bibi Bilodeau. Representing the LGBTQ community is Ted Morris. In PEI, we've got Samuel McDonald. Quebec, we've got Derek Sagan. And in Saskatchewan, we've got Miles Morris. If you're in 3 territories / provinces that you didn't hear, those would be New Brunswick, British Columbia, or the Northwest Territories. We have open positions. So if you're in those areas and you feel like stepping up into an ambassador position, we would love to have you. Just contact Janelle at canadianstandup.ca, and she will arrange that, and you'll be in touch with the board and hear what we're doing and represent your your community or your province, and that would be fantastic. So thank you to all the work that the ambassadors have done over the last couple of years, and we look forward to engaging you into some exciting things moving forward. And with that, I think I'm going to pass it back to Joe.
Bam. Bam. Thanks, Nick. So yes, I just want to give a little moment of, I know sometimes it feels where, get a lot of what is CASC doing, or is CASC doing anything? And it might feel like sometimes we're kind of like in a void and nothing's really moving, but I can assure you something is always happening at CASC, and we're always working to move things forward. And yes, these past 2 years have been dead, and we're going to make up for that lost time in these upcoming years. And we want to make sure that you guys know, all you comedians, member or not, that if you have issues in the industry, we know about the issues. We know about bad producers and comedy club owners and all the bad things that may happen. If you don't have anybody to talk to, or you want to, express yourself, we're here to listen. Anything that comes through us is anonymous. It stays within our group. It's not about, if you want to say, this person said that or that person said what. It's about changing the industry and changing its practices. And we only can do that if we all work together. So, like I said, reach out if you ever have something like that happens. We're here to listen. Please go visit our workplace safety and harassment policy. I'm going to put it in the comments in a minute. And like I said, CASC is here to listen. We're here to help. We're here to be the voice that you can't be. So let us be that voice. I'm going to pass on next thing to coming to an end here. It's going to be a short town hall, but it's all right. Our AGM is going to be happening in April 24th, 2023, this year. We're going to be talking, hopefully, and voting on Unifor final, maybe, or at least the beginning of a final, to really find out what people think. We're going to have some more answers by then, because we're going to go back and talk to them, see exactly what CASC has to do. We're going to answer the questions that you've put in the surveys so that we can get all that information back to you, and so we can really make a proper decision that will benefit everybody. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass it back to Monty so we can say his farewells.
Well, firstly, I wanted to say big thank you to Joanne Britton, everybody. She handles all the technicals here, and as usual, running smoothly for the town hall. Thanks to everybody else on tonight. I think we put our thoughts across pretty well. And I guess a few parting thoughts. I'll just reiterate kind of how I started. Again, if you haven't got the AFC reactivation fund, please go to it, afchelps.ca. They've done fantastic work over there. And again, they're giving out $2,500. If you haven't got it yet, you still have a month to get it. So please go and do it. I don't want to see anybody left out for lack of hearing about it or something like that. So we're trying to get the word out the best we can. So please go do that. And please check out and answer the survey for Unifor. Tell us what you think. Hopefully, Drew did a great job explaining kind of where we're coming from with it. And if you need more information or whatnot, please follow up in the comments. Let's hear from you, because we don't want to do anything that you don't want to be done. So we want to make sure that everybody, a large swath of us, are on the same page, right? You can't be unanimous, but we want everybody to be informed, and we want to. We don't want to do it, make a decision without everyone hearing about it and being either on board or spoken for. So please check that out and fill it out for us, so we can know where you're at.
All right. Without further ado,
How about we have a great year in 2023? How about that, guys?
Yes, an amazing
Yes.
2023 for comedy. All right. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
Kaz.
so much.
Peace.
Have a good one. Thank
Bye,
you.
all.